Hello and welcome. You're here with Miss Libby Rose. Hello, and in today's online tutorial, I haven't got a sewing machine in front of me, which is very unusual for me. Normally I'm sitting here with my sewing machines and iron and all sorts, but today I've got my laptop, so I've got my little Mac here, and I've got this beautiful new piece of magic kit. I think it's very magic to me anyway. That's a new arrival for this year for me, and I just love to share it with you and just have a bit of a chat about it and show you how it works and see if you're as excited about it as I am. So this is the Cricut Maker. Now, some of you may well know the Cricut machines, or some of you might be sitting there right now and just Googling what's Cricut. But they are they are a worldwide company, but they have got these beautiful cutting machines, really. That's what it is. It's a cutting machine, but it does so much more. So I think originally they were, the die cutting, things for crafts, really, like card makers use them a lot. So you can send things from your laptop to here and you can make beautiful intricate cards and appliques. Now I've had one of these machines, not the Maker, but I've had the Explore Air, I think it's called. I've had one of those in the past, and I've still got it in my workshop. So I used that for appliques, and it was so that it would cut the fabric in the machine. So really precise, beautiful cutting on that machine. But now they've launched this. I think this was launched last year, I'm pretty sure. And I was very excited to see this machine, as there's a whole part of it dedicated to sewing. And even on the Cricut website, they have got a whole range of simplicity patterns that link to this machine, and so that you can just press print, basically, in our terms. You're just pressing print and sending it to the machine. You put your fabric through and it will cut all of these wonderful designs for you. Now, it does so much more than that, it certainly does, but I'm just here to talk about the sewing side because that's what we love. We love sewing, and and that's what really excites me. So this is all pretty brand new to me, even though I've used an Explore Air, I think it's called Explore Air, machine before. The Maker, I'm gonna go right from scratch using this. And I just really love to share some tutorials and share my little journey with this machine with you. So if you're into that, and if you'd like to join me on those, then follow when I put like a new video up with the hashtag of Cricut, or you'll see just little steps in my journey, and different ideas and different projects that you could make too if you wanted to use it. Or I'll have it, for different events and things when I'm out and about, I'll have this machine with me, so you could always come along and have a bit of a play with it, because I'll be quite obsessing over it as well. So to get started, so when I first opened up the box, all beautifully, and it's a beautiful design as well, but when I first opened the box, it comes with a load of stuff already ready for us to go. And you've got like a let's get started box, and in there is a load of instructions and all of the kit that comes with. So you get scissors and little tweezers and little like weeding tools as well. But what really interests me that comes with it is these mats. So you use mats it's just like a cutting mat. So just like what we would use cutting mats when we're doing with the rotary cutter by hand, we've got these mats that come with. Now this pink one, not just because it's pink, but this pink one really stood out for me because it is specifically for fabric. Now in the past, when I've used one of these machines, I would need to back the fabric before putting it onto the cutting mat and putting it through the machine. But now, with the new technology, I can just put the fabric straight on and send it to the machine. So that's really exciting, because the less faff, the better. And anything that's gonna cut my cutting time down is like super cool in my books. Now when you open up the machine, it's beautifully designed. I'm quite, I have got a bit of an architectural background as well, as some of you may know, so nice slick design is quite good for me. Now this is soft opening, which is lovely, and then we open right up. So you need the machine open to use it, because this down here is where the mat would go in when I'm sending it through. Now these here are the blades, so they would also have on the one side, they'd also have pens and things, so there is like a whole nother range that you can draw with them and everything. You can draw on cards and so many different things, but I'm just focusing on the sewing side and the fabric side. And that is in this port B. Now in there is, I've already put it in there, but I would like to take it out and show you how easy it is too. In here this is a rotary cutter, so it's a tiny blade in there, but it is just like the rotary cutters that we use by hand. Sometimes we've got big industrial ones, I know that I have when I'm doing big cuts before shows, but this one is just this beautiful sharp little blade, and all I do is just click it in place, and that holds nicely, and we're in. So that's all I need for cutting fabric. Now I am going to go over time. I am going to get more intense, and I'm going to do some sewing hacks, and I'm going to design stuff for myself that will go up on the Cricut website, so that you can easily just send it to your printer and cut it out as well, and we can do some making together. But for now, what I want to show is this in action. So can you see, this is one I've done earlier, so it's beautiful star, so I could use this for my applique. So we've got a lovely star which has been beautifully cut. Now all I need is a piece of fabric, so a fat quarter, and I've cut my piece of fat quarter into quarters, and you could even cut it down less as well, because all you need is just the size of what you're going to cut out. So I get that ready, I press it as flat as I can, so I use my iron to press it down nice and flat. And then these boards come with a plastic film on them, so I take this film off. But do keep this. We have a bit of a tendency to want to get rid of that, but keep this, because you can keep putting that over the board to keep your board nice and dust free. And then all I'm going to do is take this and place it in the top corner. And when you place fabric on there, I just place it on, and it almost glides over there. So you've got this little bit of stick on there already, and the fabric knows that that's where it wants to go. Now there is a tool for this as well, for rubbing it down, because you don't want any bumps in there at all. So there's a special little tool. Now in the machine, they've got all these beautiful compartments. Just like in our sewing machines, where we've got little boxes for all of our bobbins and things, the Cricut machine has got these beautiful compartments. So here is what I would use to scrape down my fabric. So I've kept that in there nicely. And then up here has got a little compartment for all of the tools, like tweezers and weeding tools and scissors. And then these little one in here for the different blades that would go in there. And I can use different types of blades for different projects, but I generally will want to use that rotary tool. So right now all I'm doing is I'm just flattening it down. Okay, so it's beautifully flattened down. No bumps in there at all. And I know what's the top. The top has got this little triangular shape in there. And I just place this in the front of the machine. And there's all of these buttons on the side here. So we've got power, we've got an we've got power, we've got an arrow up and down. So that means pulling it in, and then we've got the Cricut logo, which means go, and then a pause button. And I love a pause button because then we can always just say stop if we're just not sure or something hasn't gone in quite right. So all I'm going to do is just press that arrow button so that the machine's just holding on to that, so that I can get my computer ready and we can get ready to start making. I just want to do a cutout of a star. That's all I'm just going to show you today, because I'm going to go more in depth into some making in another tutorial. But for now, I just wanted to introduce you to this beautiful machine and how we can use this in our sewing world. So next up, I'll just open up. So all of this stuff is quite, I'm going to put the link below as well for you. It's all very open on the Cricut website. It's a wonderful interactive website. Their YouTube channel has got so many tutorials on there. Believe me, I've spent the last few days since I've come back from Australia just go trawling through the website and really looking through it all. I'm no expert on this machine, but their tutorials are fantastic. So and hopefully I'll be adding to those. So do have a look. If you're looking at getting one, do have a look at their YouTube as well, because there are some really wonderful tutorials on there and just guides on how to use the machine and also whether it would be right for you. So I'll put a link to one with all of the all the bits and bobs about it, what happens when you open up the box and everything that comes with the machine. I'll put that link down below for you. But for now, all I'm doing is just going to my laptop, and I've opened it up in the Cricut website. So I've got my own design space on the Cricut website, and that all just automatically happens. You just need to log in and it'll connect to your machine, and then you've got your own profile there so you can start designing yourself. Then I will show you what we can do to send it to the machine. So now I'm here, and all I'm going to do is press new project, and it comes up with the mat already. Okay, so this is the mat ready to go. So I'm going to go on shapes here, choose the star, then I'm going to pop that in the top corner, make it a bit bigger, so just stretch it out. And now it's good, we're on. And then I'm just pressing this green button in the corner to say make it. And I'm going to take my material size right down because I've only got a small one there. And so now I can see the full mat here, and I can see my star on my piece of fabric. And press continue. And now I get to this page where it says set material, and it's got all the different fabrics: fabric cotton, fabric felt, fabric light fabrics, and say fabric medium fabrics like cotton. Thank you. Load tools and mat. It says load rotary blade, which I've done. And then I load my mat in, and I'm ready to press the arrow button. And now, here I am at the machine. The arrow is flashing at me. Go in. And now the C is flashing at me to say go, the Cricut logo to say go. I press it. And now it's simply going to do its thing and create that star for me. Now I've not had to put any backing behind the fabric. The mat is doing it all, is holding onto it nicely for me, and that rotary blade is cutting it out. and it's done, and now the arrow is flashing at me again. So this is done in record time that I'd be able to cut a star at, and that's me, and I've cut lots of stars in my time. Now, the first thing you do is take the outside fabric off first. So leave the shape. Don't try and take the shape off first. Take the outside fabric. Now, you don't want to touch this mat too much, the outside mat, because it has got that little bit of stick on it. And you do want to keep that nice and, well, a bit sticky as much as you can. So there are the tools that I mentioned earlier. There's like a little spatula tool, and there's some little tweezers as well. So I'm going to use some tweezers so that I don't get my fingers on there. And I'm going to get these tweezers in and pull the fabric off from around it. So once I've pulled it up, I don't have to hold those tweezers too much. I've pulled it up now. And then I can just remove the outer fabric, making sure I don't touch the mat too much. And now that's removed, and I can see a beautifully cut star. And again, I will go with these tweezers, or you can use that little spatula as well. You could use that one, little spatula, to pull it up. And then once I've got a bit of the corner, I can take it all off. And I have got a lovely star cut out, ready to sew it onto something, to use as applique, to use as bunting, to use whatever I'd like, really. And then I just go back to my laptop and press finish. And if I want to keep that, I could. But I just press finish. Otherwise, you could keep printing. So you could keep doing lots of stars. I could have put loads of stars on that same mat if I needed it for something, which probably in the future I will. And then I am done. So all I do is I close this up. I close up the front first, and then slowly push down the top. And now my maker is all closed up. And that is quite possibly the quickest star I have ever cut out, and the most accurate as well. So that was quite a basic one to do. You can get a lot more intense, and I certainly will over time. But I just wanted to show you really how simple and easy it is to get started. Like, sometimes with technology, it can get a little bit overwhelming, especially sometimes for us crafters. We're used to just our way and using our set sewing machines and using things the way that we like. Sometimes when things get a little bit too technological, it can get a little bit overwhelming. But this, you know, just giving yourself some time with it and being able to sit and go, okay, I can do this. It's beautiful. And plus, you know, a biggie for me is the YouTube tutorials that just take you through nice and slowly, getting started. And then once you're on a roll, just like with the sewing machine, you know, you can go, okay, this is great. Now I can do this, and think of all the other creative things that you could do. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. And I really look forward to joining you again, doing a sewing tutorial, talking about the Cricut a little bit more, doing a few more bits on that. And yeah, I wish you a really happy week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for now.